Oh, have I?
Oh, thanks, Matthew. Yeah, just welcome everybody. It's really great to have you all here. This is the last of our Tech Week webinars this week. We've had some really, really exciting speakers, and today you've got me. So just gonna give you an introduction even to Derbyshire Carers with Jo Askew, who is, she'll tell you what her title is. I'm not even sure of your title, Jo. And then I'll give you a brief overview of what tech could be used specifically to support unpaid carers. And I've got quite a range of stuff from our own internal catalogue and what could be particularly useful from a carer's perspective, through to some apps that are out there and smart home technology and a few kind of thinking out the box type things. When I'm referring to carers throughout it, I am not just thinking of carers in terms of people living in the property with somebody. I'm thinking of perhaps me and my mum living 50 miles away, but I'm still there providing a lot of care and support for her. So it's that kind of wide range of carers that I've tried to cater for in the tech that I'm introducing to you today. So I will hand over to Jo. If you can share the slides, Josh, that would be amazing.
Yep.
And Jo's just going to give you a little bit of an introduction to who Derbyshire Carers are and what they do before I tell you about the tech.
Brilliant. Hi. So as I've been introduced, I'm Jo Askew. My title is Fundraising and Engagement Worker for Derbyshire Carers Association. This is a whistle-stop tour, so please, any questions, happy to put my email in or get in touch with us directly. I know some of you may refer in to us, but if there's any unpaid carers out there on a personal note, more than happy for you to get in touch with me. So the first thing, who is considered a carer? And this is probably the one slide that I will read out to you because it's perfectly put. A carer is anyone from the age of 5 who looks after a family member, partner or friend who needs help because of their illness, frailty, disability, a mental health problem or an addiction and cannot cope without their support. The care they give is unpaid. There isn't a certain amount of time that you have to support somebody to be classed as a carer, and like we say, there is no caring role that is the same. Every single caring role is different, and it should be seen as different, and that's part of what we do, looking at each individual role and seeing how we can support that person on an individual basis. Sorry, lots of things that carers do. They might do all of these things, they might do some of them. So personal care, household help, travel, financial and well-being. We are finding that the emotional support that unpaid carers are given is definitely on the rise, you know, being there to support someone mentally, as well as doing the tasks of making sure that the finances are in place and looking after their household things and making sure they can get to appointments. So we do recognise that it hasn't got to be something like we say with disabilities. It's not always a physical disability, you know, it's what's going on behind the scenes as well. It is the emotional support. So what do we do? I feel really honoured to work for Derbyshire Carers Association. I feel that what we do, we go above and beyond and always feel like we could do more, but we want to make a difference to every single carer across Derbyshire. Raising awareness of carers and the roles that they do, That's part of my job, and actually fundraising and engagement work hand in hand. We challenge inequalities, and we also try and support. We have lots of different projects that we do, and some of that is supporting working carers, and trying to support employers and making sure that they are aware of carers in their employment, and making sure the carers get everything that they are entitled to legally, and financially. We aim to make sure that carers live a healthy, happy life, fulfill their lives. Identification early is one of the key things. The earlier that we can support, we don't have to support, day in, day out, but we are there at the end of the telephone, and actually knowing somebody's there to talk to, and knowing that we can go through things with you, it makes a huge difference. We do offer the assessment, the carers assessment, which we are funded for by Derbyshire County Council. This creates the personalised plan for the carer, at which point that's then where we can put in the personalised plan for moving forward. Lots of statistics there. 77,000 unpaid adult carers and over 2,000 young carers in Derbyshire. One thing that I do when I go into schools is, one statistic that I give is, because when I'm talking to young people, it's really difficult to kind of imagine what figures might look like. So actually across the UK, we could fill Wembley Stadium nearly 9 times with the amount of young carers alone across the UK. So that to me is just an immense amount of young carers, and we need to be doing as much as possible to support them. Young carers aged 5 to 17 and a half. We are an all-age carer support service, and we do look at the whole family situation. But as you can understand, young carers aged 5 to 17 and a half, young adult carers 18 to 25, and then adult carers, their needs are very, very different. But what I will say is that in every service that we offer, we ensure that it is run, really, that the person that's in charge is the carer. So a young carer has all these options that you can see on the screen, but they choose what they want. They choose what support they would like. It might just be the one-to-one support. It might be just the activities. It might be everything. They are in charge of what happens with the support that we give. Young adult carers 17 and a half to 25. As you can imagine, at that age, lots of things might be going on in their life, lots of decisions with universities, jobs, apprenticeships. We aim, we've got a fantastic lady, Anne, who works tirelessly with the young adult carers, and they are supported again however they need, and looking at their future. Adult carers, we don't have a time limit with adult carers or young adult carers. Actually, the only time restraint that we do have for support is with young carers, which we aim to offer about 6 months of support. That is purely due to funding and being able to support as many young carers as possible. But the adult carers, they've got lots of things, including the carers assessment, information, advice and guidance, and the legal and financial advice as well. We do offer half-an-hour sessions that are free of charge for any questions that they may have. So how do you refer to a carer to Derbyshire All Age Carer Support Service? So lots of ways. As a professional, you can go onto our website, as you can see in front, click the adult carer and make a referral. It'll take you perhaps 3 or 4 minutes. Same for young carers, but carers, actually, we encourage them to refer themselves in as well. So anybody can do it. It doesn't have to be a professional. It doesn't have to be a doctor. The carer themselves can refer themselves into it. Just one note that I would make is that with a young carer, we do need parental consent. So if you are doing it on behalf of a young carer, then just making sure that the parental consent is there, because obviously we would have to check that and wouldn't be able to support if we didn't have that. Thank you very much. Oh, I've gone on to not my slide. Let me go back. Really, it's a super quick tour, a super quick stop. If you've got any questions, more than happy to give you my email, and I hope that just gives you a bit of a flavour of what we do here at Derbyshire Carers. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jo. That's fab. So yeah, you had a sneaky peek there, but it's nothing new. So what do we mean by technology-enabled care? It's a term that not everybody is familiar with. I wasn't sure with this session if I was going to get professionals or carers or external professionals. So I put the Tomorrow's World thing on there because people often see it as a kind of like a newfangled, slightly baffling thing, and it's something that you get a real mixture of people that are ready for embracing it, but they're also a bit frightened of it. So what are we talking about by technology-enabled care? So things have changed over the years. It would have been a number of years ago just a very basic pendant alarm, big red button on it. People would wear it around their neck, and it'd often be hardwired into sort of sheltered accommodation type places. You then used to be able to get this standalone alarms that people could have in their homes, and they were connected to people's telephone lines. There was growth in the industry to some extent, and there were telecare services. So people had like peripherals and additional things that could attach to their basic alarm. And often it'd be called assistive technology or the telecare service. Now things everywhere are going digital. Technology is just growing exponentially. It's almost impossible to keep up with where technology is taking us to, and that's very much the case with technology-enabled care. Landlines are all shifting. People aren't going to have a landline in their wall. Most of that's already happened, but it'll have all happened completely by January 2027. So it creates a real opportunity to support people in new, different ways, exciting ways. So what are the tech options now? So the basic standard community alarm is still definitely really important as part of that kind of package. And it can include things like your fall detectors, your bed sensors, your door sensors, and all of that standard package that you're probably quite used to hearing about. There are GPS devices that, although they work in the way that a basic standard community alarm does in terms of being connected to those additional things, it gives people the freedom to then take that alarm out of their house. They're not stuck only being protected from inside their house. So it creates real kind of balance between freedom and support. There's a lot of remote monitoring out there that can help identify really small changes in people's behaviours and abilities in their homes that can help pick things up before they get to crisis. Smart watches. So many of us have got a smart watch, and we use apps on our mobile, and increasingly people are using that to monitor their health, for giving reminders, and they're really accessible to people. Smart home technology such as Alexa and smart devices that are tailored specifically to well-being and health. So there's a really wide range of tech out there now. It's come on such a lot, and there's such a lot of opportunity. And tech is really for anybody now. It used to be generally that stereotypical 85-year-old Beryl sat in her bungalow, and it's now so wide ranging. It works best when health, social care, and all those wider services all work together to support the people and understand that the tech that is available to people. So if we're thinking about carers specifically, there are all kinds of tech that can really help support carers. This device here on the right of the screen is a pager, and the alert for the alarms. So if the person presses their pendant, or if they have a fall, or whatever that alert is, it can go to this pager that the carer has, instead of going to Medequip Connect at the calls monitoring centre. Now, it can divert to the calls monitoring. So if, for example, the carers down the bottom of the garden doing their weedings, and the person's in the house and they haven't quite heard it beeping because they're talking to the neighbour, or if they pop to the toilet or whatever else, it can connect. Then it'll drop over to Medequip Connect. So there's always somebody that can be available to pick that up if required. It's really easy, touch screen. Medequip Connect, when they bring it to the person's property, will explain how it works. They'll set it all up for you, and it's really simple. And it's got a 2-day battery life on it. You can wear it clipped onto a belt. You can wear it on a lanyard, or just pop it in your pocket, as long as you're careful not to knock it in your pocket. The range on it is 600 meters, and I didn't have a clue what 600 meters. I can't judge how far 600 meters is at all, so I did a bit of a Google, and it's the length of 6 football pitches, or twice the height of the Shard. So should you wish to go twice the height of the Shard away from the person that you are supporting, you can be sure that that is going to still continue to work. So it allows people real freedom. Most people are not going to be 600 meters away, but for example, if you've been caring for somebody and you want to just pop next door and have a chat with your neighbour, or if you want to go down the garden and dig your onions, or wherever, it just allows you to have that bit of freedom with the reassurance. And as I talked about earlier, the devices can connect to a whole range of different sensors. The ones that you're probably used to essentially. So we have smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, heat detectors. The picture at the top here is a falls detector, and that'll pick up if the person has fallen automatically. It doesn't pick up if the person has sort of slumped to the ground. It has to be a hard fall, but the person does still have the option of pressing that pendant if they require it. We have medical sensors. This funky wavy thing here is an epilepsy sensor, and the one at the bottom here is a medication dispenser. So if you're caring for people from afar, whether it be 10 minutes down the road or an hour, you can top up that medication dispenser and be sure that if that person isn't taking their medication, then Medequip Connect will be alerted and they will contact family or whoever you've asked to be contacted, and you can be kept in the loop on that. The one in the middle here is a bed sensor. So if somebody's got out of bed, that would be particularly useful with the pager option. And if somebody's, this little thing on the wall here is just telling somebody that the person has gone out of their front door or their back door. And again, that then alerts Medequip Connect, who will contact family. I will at this point say it's really important that if you are a carer or you're working with a carer, that you make sure that Medequip Connect have the correct information for that person. So responders change all the time, people's medication changes, medical conditions, and it's really important that you keep Medequip Connect in the loop on that. That can either be through the worker at the council, or that can be through simply by pressing the pendant or pressing the big button on the unit to contact Medequip Connect and just tell them that something has changed, and they can keep that record, a really good quality record. Next slide. The next slide is a video. So this is about the GPS, and this is Michael just explaining to you how having the GPS has really helped him and reassured his carer to allow him to be able to go out and have that bit of freedom in his life. I don't want to highlight that. I'll just press the button. Just checking, Josh, you did share with sound, yeah? Excellent.
Yes, I did now. Yep.
Lovely, thank you. Oh, full screen's available. Brilliant. So Oyster is just an example of the GPS options. We've got a number of GPS options that can be ordered through our catalogue. If you're an external professional, you can complete our request for telecare if you believe that somebody is Care Act eligible. But if that person isn't Care Act eligible, you can purchase them through Medequip Connect as a private payer as well. Just move on to the next one. So I've told you about some fairly standard options at present that are on our catalogue for you to order right now, but there's quite a few new and up and coming things that are out there that I just want to share with you. So to start off, I mentioned it earlier, But activity monitoring really helps to provide that reassurance to families, especially if the person isn't close by, that their family member or their carer isn't close by. So how it works, and again, I'm just going to scribble on the screen. It has this type of thing on the wall, and it can use smart plugs, and it just creates a picture of somebody's life. So, for example, it'll you can have one in front of the bathroom, and it'll tell you how many times that person's going in and out of the bathroom, or the kitchen, or the smart plug will alert you that somebody's put a lamp on, or they've used their microwave or their kettle, or their Xbox, or whatever it is that tells you as a carer that that person's performing their usual activity. And then it'll pull all that information together, and it'll tell either the practitioner or the family members how that person is managing at home, and where those small changes are. We use two types of activity monitoring software at present. One is called Canary Care. We use it for our assessment and review processes. And family members are able to log into that platform and set their own rules up and learn a little bit about how that person's managing at home, and it can really provide reassurance. We're also just about to commence a 12-month proof of concept for Access Ashore, which I will show you a video about. This is only going to be available in 4 areas of the county initially. That's Amber Valley, Erewash, North East Derbyshire, and Derbyshire Dales. But the hope is that that will then roll out to the rest of the county. Those 4 areas that I've talked about that are going to have the Access Ashore as part of what we call a proactive and preventative approach, will also have the option of an in-person response. So if anything is identified, there's the option for one of Medequip Connect staff to go out and check on that person. I've put the email address at the bottom here for Canary Care. Canary Care can be purchased by family members and used privately if you wanted to have a look at that as a long-term option for somebody. So I will move us on to a video about the Access Ashore proactive and preventative approach. Some of you will have already watched this video, but hopefully it will just serve as a bit of a reminder around that. this bit would be completed by Medequip Connect when they go out to install and assess. I'm guessing everybody else heard that. I'm not sure why you couldn't, Angela. Sorry. Did everybody else hear it?
Yeah, that was great, Nat. Thanks.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Sorry, Angela. You've got a copy of it. You have to watch it later. I think you've already seen it. So yeah, that approach will be used across the council from hopefully the middle of October. We've had a few issues in terms of recruitment, as we know, affects a lot of this industry. But we are hopeful that we should be up and running with that by the middle of October, and we will make sure that you are all okay. So I will move that on. Smart home technology. I don't know if any of you came to the webinar on Tuesday, but we had lots of different options around how we could use smart home technology to support people. But here's just a few things that you can use smart home technology for lighting and heating. Lots of people now have got a Ring doorbell or a Eufy doorbell, but smart doorbells and video options are really helpful for just providing that additional security. So if you're popping out as a carer, you can continue to check who's coming to the front door whilst you're away. Voice prompts, I've used Bide as an example here. I will show you a little bit about that one in a little while. Smart devices, so you can control washing machines and fridges and all kinds of devices through an app now. You can even order stuff that isn't in your fridge any longer from some of the smart fridges, and it very much feels a bit like tomorrow's world again. But they can provide really effective solutions for people. You can use automation to control curtains and blinds and then connect them to a smart speaker, and then the person would just use an easy control in the way that they can also then use that for the lighting and heating. So I'm not going to keep saying the word Alexa too many times because mine will go off in the background and keep disturbing us, but you'd use simple commands like Alexa, open my curtains, or Alexa, close the blinds, Alexa, switch the light on, Alexa, turn the heating up 3 degrees, for example. So you can use really simple and easy commands, or you can automate it from afar. So if you're looking after somebody and you have the app to control it on your mobile, you can set it to close the curtains or the blinds at a particular time, or pop the heating on whilst you're out. You can also use it for reminders for medications and appointments, and then it'll be spoken out on the smart speaker. Carers UK have got a really handy page telling you a little bit more about all that smart automation. So I've dropped the website just on the bottom of the screen there, and these slides will all be shared around. Another fantastic carer-led option in terms of smart speakers is the one that I'm going to show you the video for just now. So hopefully you can hear this one. So we are currently running a pilot with 3 or 4 people at present around using that as part of their care package. But again, that is available as a paid for device, and it is effectively a carer-led option. So it isn't something that the council would be getting involved in setting reminders and messaging people. Medequip Connect wouldn't be involved in that. It would be for someone that has a connected family network or carer, and that they'd set up the alerts and the reminders, and they'd be able to use it to keep in contact and offer reassurance to the family. So again, I've popped the website down at the bottom of the screen there. Bide is just another quick option. So if people are having falls at night, there's just a really simple option with a light up bedside device that picks up if the person has sat up in bed or if they're getting out of bed, and it plays a reassuring message, and the carer can record that message. So for example, if people are prone to falling and they've often forgotten to put their glasses on in the night, or if they've forgotten to put their pendant around their neck, that happens quite often, that people have a fall, and although they will have a pendant, they'd have left it next to their pillow. And so if they walked to the toilet, fall in the night, they don't have the option then to call for help as easily. So it's all those little sort of reminders. You just put a message on there going, Mom, don't forget if you're getting up to the loo to pop your glasses on, or those sorts of things. And again, website on the bottom, and that is available as a non-subscription. It's just a one-off purchase that can just offer reassurance to those people that are frequent fallers. And I've created a page of apps that might be useful when caring for somebody. So the Blue Badge Parking app is a database. It's worldwide actually, and it has all the Blue Badge parking spaces. It's reliant on people adding those in. So it's only as good as the users, and I haven't used it, I have to admit, but it is quite well regarded in terms of having good information on there about where those parking spaces are, so that you can perhaps have a check before you take somebody out and about. The NHS app, a lot of us have probably heard about the NHS 10-year plan. It currently has a lot of information on the app in terms of being able to book appointments in some places and order medication and check on letters that have arrived, and check on hospital appointments if there's an appointment being created for somebody yet. That's all available in the NHS app, but the plan is for that NHS app to be used for even more reasons, so it will be a great resource. You can use an app to support people's mental health. So, for example, there's apps around emotions coaching. There's a really cool app called Finch Self-Care. Excuse me, sorry. And it sort of creates meaningful activity and helps people to sort of structure their time and kind of be rewarded for the activities that they're completing. There are apps around breathing, so really easy apps. So if people are starting to get panicked or overwhelmed, the breathing apps just have a simple sort of expanding and reducing circle, and it tells you when to breathe in, when to breathe out, and it sounds really simple, but it's very effective at sort of helping people to feel calm and relaxed. And it's something that if you as a carer can work with somebody, then it can be a sort of reassurance if you can get people using that whilst you aren't there. And relaxation and meditation, there's so many apps, and you can just put those simple key words into the Play Store or the App Store, and it'll come up with all kinds of options on there. You can use it for organisation, medication reminders, routine planning, and I wanted to mention in particular an app and a website. Actually, it's either or, called Goblin Tools. And it's really helpful. It's a collection of small tools for making big tasks less complicated. So, for example, it can break up tasks. Like you could put something simple like make cheese on toast, and then it'll break that down into easy steps for you. And then you can break it down even further if you choose. And it can help you to formalize letters, or you can tell it what's in the fridge and it'll come up with a recipe for you. There's some really fantastic things on there that just allow people to be a little bit independent, to allow carers to have that sort of element of freedom, but the tools in place for that person to be able to manage on their own for some time. And there are games that are specific to people with dementia, for example, sort of reminiscence type things, and brain training, just easy brain training games. So just a general selection of apps out there, but if you can put just those simple, easy phrases in, then it'll come up with all kinds of options. The last app that I wanted to share with you is specific for carers, and it's called Jointly. And it's a place to keep all of the information about people that you care for. So, for example, if you've got an elderly parent and you and your brothers and sisters are all taking it in turns to look after mum, it can have all of her appointments in there, messages between all of you about things specific to your mum, what she might have had for breakfast, if somebody's coming to take her out for lunch, for example, a profile page collecting it all together, all those emergency contacts and people that are involved, and you can all collaborate on that information together and act as a kind of shared repository for information. So a really great app there. I hadn't heard of it before. I found it specifically for this webinar, and I think it's great. Again, the website's down at the bottom of the page. So how do you find out more? We obviously have the technology-enabled care options within Derbyshire County Council. That they can come as part of a funded care package, and it'd be free as part of a funded care package, regardless of if you had just the simple alarm or the pager or the GPS or the whole proactive and preventative offer. It all comes funded as part of that person's care package. Where people are Care Act eligible but they don't have a care package, they'd be a part funded person, and they just pay a really small contribution towards that. And again, it's regardless of how much tech you actually have, you just pay that small contribution. And Medequip Connect offer private pay across the whole county as well. How can Derbyshire carers help with this? They can support people with applying for TEC. They've got lots of information around how to apply for TEC and what TEC is available. And Angela, that works with Derbyshire carers, is actually one of our TEC champions. So she's on hand to be able to support you with understanding how to apply for that. And equally, where people are eligible, a carer's personal budget can be considered to support the purchase of specific technologies. So that's the end of my slides, apart from my last slide, which ChatGPT created for me, to say services are better when they're designed together. We've created a strategy, a 2-year strategy, and part of that strategy is around making sure that the information for the public and for external professionals around what tech is available, not just through us, but what tech is available in the wider market. Our aim is to really improve that offer. And we would love to have some carers involved, some external professionals that work with carers perhaps involved in that process. So I've created a really simple form and a QR that's on the slides, or you can scan it on the screen. now if you wanted to do that. But we'd love to get you involved. We don't know exactly when we're going to be starting that. It will be a process. It'll probably be little bits of work at a time. By completing that, you are not committing to anything in particular. You can change your mind at any time. You can get as involved, as little involved or as lot involved as you like. But we would love to have people on board helping us to ensure that that information is what people are wanting. So that is it for my slides. I think there's something in the chat. I'm not sure if it's a question or not.
No,
but
I think we're good now.
We've got 5-10 minutes. If anybody would like to ask a question, I'll stop sharing the slides. And if there's any questions about any of that, then please feel free to shout up. Jude.
Hi, Nat. I just wonder what some of the cost of some of that is. I've not got an example, but just kind of broadly.
Okay. So if you're looking at things like the Sentai Smart Speaker, I think that's got a subscription cost of about £20 a month. The Bide speaker for the bedside, that's about 220, I think. Through Derbyshire County Council, those part-funded people that I talked about currently pay £2 and 6p a week. With the proactive and preventative and the responder option, that adds about an additional £7, I think, on top of that. But once those prices are all finalised, they'll be available internally and on our website externally as well. If there's anything else specific, though, I'm happy to.
No, that's helpful just to get a feel.
Yeah, just to get a ballpark on it.
Yeah, and some of that tech can really support carers to potentially remain in work, for instance. You know, some of the kind of taking some of the burden off. Yeah,
and just to be able to have that break. And a lot of the case studies and the videos that we get back on a lot of tech is like, I feel like I've got my mum back is a really common phrase, or I feel like I've got my daughter back. And it can really help that relationship, because if you're not having to be sort of helicoptering over everything all the time, you get to just be mum and daughter a little bit more. And I think that's really powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it can take a lot of that pressure off, especially if it's a parent, for example, and that parent's been used to being mom and being the one that holds everything together. And when those roles start reversing, it can be really tricky from both sides, can't it? And bring a lot of emotions into it. So if you can take some of that away and put tech in place to support that job, then it's all the good bits that are left.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Kathy.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else got any questions? No? Well, I've either stunned you all into silence, or I've told you absolutely everything you would possibly ever need to know. So I'm going to go with the last one. This will be shared around with everybody that's registered. We are going to share it with Derbyshire carers, obviously, and they can use that for anything in future. We will share it on our Connect pages as well. So please go and use our Connect pages if you are internal. If you would like it sharing with other people, then please just drop me a message and we'd be happy to do that. If there's nothing else in the chat or anything, then I'll give you 3 minutes of your life back. And just want to say thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for engaging with all the webinars over the week. And we're always here if you need to ask us any other questions. Okay. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thanks,
Take
everyone.
care.
Thanks, Nat. Bye.
No probs. Lovely. Just us. You can stop the recording.
Yeah, let me just do it.